In the annals of American crime, few names inspire as much fear as Marcus the Hammer Hayes. His life is a harrowing tale of violence, power, and a relentless rise to infamy. From the streets of Detroit to the blood-soaked corridors of maximum security prisons, Hayes has left a trail of devastation that has earned him the title of the most dangerous prisoner in the United States. Marcus Hayes was born on October 15, 1972, in the heart of Detroit, Michigan. The city was in the grip of economic decline, and the streets were teeming with crime. Raised in a broken home, Marcus was exposed to violence from an early age. His father, a local enforcer for a small-time gang, was often absent, leaving Marcus to fend for himself. By the age of 12, Marcus had already had his first run-in with the law, arrested for armed robbery. Over the next few years, his rap sheet grew longer: assaults, grand theft auto, and drug possession. By 17, he was a hardened criminal, known for his brutality and unflinching resolve. In the early 1990s, Detroit was a city at war. The crack epidemic had spawned fierce rivalries between gangs vying for control of the drug trade. It was in this cauldron of violence that Marcus Hayes earned his nickname, the Hammer. Known for his ruthless efficiency in eliminating rivals, Hayes quickly rose through the ranks, eventually becoming the leader of the notorious East Side Demons. But Marcus's rise to power came at a price. In 1996, after a botched drug deal turned into a massacre, Hayes was arrested and charged with multiple counts of murder. Despite his attempts to intimidate witnesses and jurors, he was convicted and sentenced to life without parole in one of America's most secure prisons. For most prisoners, a life sentence is the end of the road. But for Marcus Hayes, it was merely a new battlefield. Inside the walls of Hinton Federal Penitentiary, Hayes quickly established himself as a force to be reckoned with. The prison was a volatile mix of rival gangs, each vying for control of the illicit drug trade within. In 2002, tensions between the Aryan Brotherhood and the Bloods reached a boiling point. The two factions had been in a cold war for years, but it was Marcus Hayes who ignited the spark that led to one of the deadliest prison riots in U.S. history. In a meticulously orchestrated plan, Hayes pitted the two gangs against each other, resulting in a 3-day bloodbath that left over 20 inmates dead and dozens more injured. The riot cemented Hayes' reputation as the most dangerous man in the prison system. Even behind bars, he wielded an almost supernatural level of influence, feared by inmates and guards alike. To understand the making of a man like Marcus Hayes, one must look back at the life he led before he became the Hammer. Born into poverty, neglected by his parents, and exposed to violence at every turn, Marcus's childhood was a breeding ground for the rage that would later consume him. As a teenager, he sought refuge in the streets, finding a sense of belonging in the gang culture that ruled his neighborhood. By the time he was 18, Marcus had already been in and out of juvenile detention more times than he could count. Each time he came out angrier, more determined to carve out a place for himself in a world that had shown him nothing but cruelty. Today, Marcus Hayes resides in solitary confinement at the ADX Florence Supermax prison in Colorado. Deemed too dangerous to be housed with the general population, he spends 23 hours a day in a concrete cell, isolated from the world. Yet even in isolation, his name continues to strike fear into the hearts of those who know his story. The story of Marcus Hayes is a chilling reminder of how a life shaped by violence and neglect can create a monster. His legacy is one of bloodshed, terror, and the unending question: how many more Marcus Hayeses are being forged in the forgotten corners of our society? Thank you for watching this episode of Heist Histories. If you found this story as captivating as it is chilling, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more tales from the dark side of history.